How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to the Hall of Film podcast. And today it is episode 3, and me and my guest are talking about 1991 Jonathan Demme's psychological thriller masterpiece, The Silence of the Lambs. And my guest, I am so happy because genuinely one of the nicest, kindest, amazing people that I've ever met, and has her own podcast and is also a published author now, which she needs to plug this book and where you can get it. It is Klarissa from I've Seen That One. Klarissa, thank you so much for coming on.
Oh my gosh. Morgan, what an intro. You are the best. Yeah, I am so happy to be here. We're talking an amazing movie, and I'm talking an amazing movie with an amazing friend. So I'm so excited for this. This is going to be
Yeah.
great.
I mean, the first thing that you've got to do is just introduce us to yourself if people don't know who you are and what you do and just your journey with films.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Well, you gave me an amazing intro. I have published a book and I have a podcast, but it's all centered around this kind of movie journey of like I haven't seen a lot of classics, and so I've been chipping away at them over time and kind of adding to my list and taking off my list to try and finally say I've seen that one anytime someone asks me if I've seen a movie. And of course, that's almost an impossible
Yeah.
mission, right? Like there
Yeah.
are so many movies out there, but at least I can say that I've seen like movies that are generally considered a classic. So
Yeah.
my book and my podcast kind of centers around that journey for others, movies that I've watched and I would agree are a classic that you should see. So that's kind of been really fun is, as I've been going through this, the reason I started my page and my whole journey is because everyone in my life, bless their hearts, I love them, but they don't love movies as much as I do. And so I had like the movie Wiggles. I was like, I just watched Braveheart and I need to talk to somebody about it. Like, someone please break down this movie with me. So I created this little journey and it ended up being a podcast. And so I'm excited that the book is out. And if you're looking for an ultimate watch list, there it is.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And it's an endless possibility. You can do like
Oh yeah.
20 books easily. And
I plan
also,
on it.
I love the fact that your parents have an Instagram and it's called We've Seen That One. That is the
Yeah.
greatest find that I ever had on Instagram. Um,
Oh my gosh. I'm
but
so
yeah,
excited. It's not really started, but my cute dad was like, "Hey, I kind of had an idea. Can I call you about it?" And I was like, okay, yeah, sure. What's up?" And he was like, "I think it'd be really fun if we like live streamed watching movies together." And I was like,
that needs to happen.
"Okay, so
Yeah.
fun." But it has it like with school and stuff, we haven't really gotten a chance to. But we're hoping to in the spring get that started, and then he's gonna come on my show for like 5 or 6 movies. So
That's great.
it's yeah, so we'll probably put all of that there, and my mom will as well because she's more of our golden age girl. So I
Right.
have some movies I want to talk about with her. But yeah, that's so fun.
But yeah, as I mentioned, we're talking about The Silence of the Lambs, and just tell me why you selected to choose to talk about that film.
Wow. Now that I'm here and I have the opportunity to talk about this movie, how can I fully articulate its importance? I mean, there's so much to this movie. This was one that I hadn't seen until this last April,
Right.
so it's a pretty recent watch for me, relatively speaking. And I don't know what it was, but this movie like hypnotized me. It was just so amazing, and I feel like I watch so many movies and I check movies off my list, and of course they take me back. I'm so excited and I love them. But there was something about this movie that just had me so hyper fixated. It's like there was just too many perfect things in this movie
Yeah.
where I was like, I cannot come up with a gripe. I can't come up with a single complaint.
Yeah.
And that's so interesting. And it sent me kind of down the rabbit hole. I am a film studies minor, and so I have so many things going on in my classes where we're talking about the analytics of studying movies. And I was like, this movie is the perfect one to look at for everything that I'm studying right now. And so
Yeah.
I just watched it again and again and again, and I noticed something new every single time. And my husband was really concerned about me because he was like, "Why are you watching this grotesquely violent movie over and over and over again?" And I was like, "It's not as violent as you think,
Yeah.
as like people think it is. It's not. It's really mostly a psychological thriller, and it's brilliantly written." So
Yes.
yeah, there's just too much to unpack, and I feel like I have to save some of it. But those are like the reasons. There's so
Yeah.
many reasons behind it. So yeah, this is a big
Yeah,
movie.
I've only watched it 2 times, and the second time was actually today in prep for this.
Nice.
And again, like you said, I noticed something. Even when I see like clips online, I notice something different because you tend to pay attention to just like the main things at the
Yeah.
beginning, and then you can look around and you find different little things, as you said. And I mean, this is a hard question to unpack, but we've got time. Why do you think this film so far is just standing the test of time and it's constantly, just held in such a high regard?
I think that this is kind of the perfect example of what you can do with taking a literary work and turning it into a movie. This really, I mean, I read the book almost immediately after seeing it for the first time, and it was like I was picturing this movie. And most of the time when I read a book after watching a movie, I can still kind of formulate my own,
Right.
imagination. There are more things that I'm seeing or noticing and kind of picturing outside of the movie. I kind of formulate different characters, but this I was like, I am I am rewatching the movie as I'm reading this book because it
Right.
was just such an amazing adaptation. And so I think it's a really prime example of that and the possibilities there, but also it is so exemplary for performances. It's exemplary for cinematography, and it shows a lot what you can do with these really kind of serious subjects
Yes.
and in an artistic way. And I think that a lot of people right now, which this is just like a whole interesting side of like our society, is people are really obsessed with serial killers.
Yes.
And yeah, and so they're making all these movies. Like we just had the Ed Gein series come out, and
Yeah.
there's our Dahmer series. We have, oh gosh, the name is impossible. I'm gonna have to look it up. But the, what is it? Incredibly Evil and Vile
Yeah.
with,
Shockingly even evil and vile. The Ted Bundy
yeah,
one. Yeah. Yeah.
yes. I was like, if the name is super long because that's what the judge said to,
Yeah.
oh, extremely wicked, shockingly evil, and vile. So
Yes.
that's what the
Yes.
judge said to Ted Bundy when he was um
Sentence, wasn't it? Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
sentenced. I was like, what is the word I'm looking for? Yeah, sentenced. So it's interesting. I think that this Zac Efron one is the closest one that I would say to Silence of the Lambs in the structure of the story, because we're
Yeah.
not looking at the kills as much.
I
They're
I agree.
there,
Yeah.
yeah, but we're looking at this story, this kind of analytical side of dealing with people like this, as well as trying to find the truth. And so I feel like that's one that's similar, but we're seeing a resurgence in that, which is really kind of some interesting sociology to like
Yes.
get into. But I think that, so there's that aspect of this movie is people want to have that thrill of seeing something that people know happens and that anybody can be a killer.
Yes. Yeah.
But so there's like that, they want to experience something that can be reality but is rarely a reality, which is weird
Yeah.
because it's like a scary reality. But so I think that there's that aspect. I also just think, again, like I was saying, the performances are something to hold up as an example of what an Academy Award winning performance deserves.
Yes.
So I think that this is like Anthony Hopkins' Academy Award is
Yeah.
one of the most deserved I've ever seen ever in any movie.
Yeah. Like you said, with the Ted Bundy one as well, I think the genius of that, and not only just because it's like a profile on the man kind of behind almost now the mythology of
Mhm.
Ted Bundy. What I appreciated massively about that is like it doesn't really show the kills because we all know what happened. Like we don't
Yeah.
need to see a reenactment of something
No.
because we all know what happened. It's just more so like a profile on him, and that's what I like about this. And like I know Manhunter did the same, the David Fincher Netflix series. It's a
Yeah.
psychological profile on these people, not just like the Ed Gein and the Dharma one. I just really don't
Mhm.
like because I feel like it almost glorifies it in a way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And because I know the creator of it was the guy who does American Horror Story, and I think he should just stick to that rather than trying
Yeah.
to tell us. Like I always say, there's a few films and series that are about true crime that are good and exemplary. This is one. Obviously, it's not based on a real person, but it's inspired.
Mhm.
And then anything else outside of those few examples, I think let's just do like a 2 hour documentary instead. That ends up being
Yeah.
10 times better because there's no lies. It's the same like thing I've got with biopics. Just do a documentary on the person instead of a
Yeah.
film.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah,
I completely agree. I think that there are just so few exceptions to that that it's like, can we not see?
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? And I think that those few exceptions are really what people want to shoot for when they're making those. And it's like, yeah, you just can't
yeah,
do it.
yeah.
Like, sorry.
It's
So,
it's it's like 1 in a million chance of actually nailing it.
yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's like, I think too, if you were to do a biopic in a way that's just like take it or leave it, kind of like Ed Wood. Ed Wood is such a great example of like a biopic ish experience that Tim Burton took on with this old Hollywood director and Bela Lugosi.
Yeah,
And it's so beautiful and well done, but it's its own movie. Like, of course, I'm curious about who Ed Wood was after, but it's still, I just appreciate it for what it is, you
yeah,
know? And
yeah.
so it's that kind of rarity.
I always think a biopic should do that, where you want to go and research the truth then about the people rather than
Yeah.
just lying and then I find out and then I hate the film. Like
Yeah.
it happens a lot, unfortunately.
So
Um,
does.
but going back to this, I mean, again, another hard question: how do you think this has influenced the industry, both with films, as we've kind of touched on, but also with filmmakers and actors?
Wow. Yeah, I think that looking at well, first off, let's start with filmmakers. There's a lot of intentionality in this movie when it comes to how it was made.
Yeah,
And I think that even like the camera angles, the shots, the different use of close up, I mean, lighting
yeah,
alone, talk about if you're listening and you haven't seen Silence of the Lambs, get out of here.
yeah,
Scram, I'm gonna spoil it.
yeah.
But like looking at those moments when Buffalo Bill has his night vision goggles and the way
I
that they
was
use
just about
lighting and
to
no
bring that
lighting.
up. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
it's
scene is the scene probably of the film that lives in my head. Like when I think of
mhm.
it, just to when he's reaching out and nearly touching her, and it's like you're kind of just holding your breath,
Oh,
even if you know the end.
yeah. You so are. You
Yeah,
absolutely do. And it's just that perfect feeling of eeriness, but I think it's something to really look at because that's we're not banking on all of the gore in this movie. The only time we really truly have gore is when Lecter escapes and he kind
yeah.
of shows us what he can do.
I think that's
We
the
do have the
intentionality of it.
bodies. Yes. Yeah. Well, and we have Buffalo Bill's bodies, but they're not really gory and it's not
Yeah,
really a gratuitous scene. It's like they're decaying. They
yeah,
You see what's been taken from them as a human, not just physically because you see their skin gone, but you see mostly like there are leaves and there's mud and dirt
yeah,
and she finds the moth in her mouth. There's that side to it. And so it's not banking on these super gory kills.
yeah,
It hasn't, and we don't even really see Lecter killing except for one moment, but we don't see his victim. We see it as if he's conducting an orchestra,
yeah,
and and that's so interesting. But everything, and that's what I mean with intentionality, is there's not everything that you feel. well, at least that I feel like you see in movies that would be about killers now. It's all of the psychological side, and that's
Yeah,
what's most important. Is it's banking on the performances and the techniques. So I think that this question is perfectly tailored to this movie because it's like, what are filmmakers looking at, and what are actors and actresses looking at? And I think that that's exactly what this movie banks on.
yeah.
So performances as well. I did you watch Hannibal?
I didn't get around to it, unfortunately, but you can
That's
talk
okay.
about it.
Okay, that's all right.
I was going to say,
I
the only
love
thing I know about Hannibal is Gary Oldman in that film, and when I see like the
yeah.
pictures of that, that is one of the most terrifying things I've ever seen, and also some of the best
Yeah.
prosthetic work I think I've seen in
Oh,
film.
yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's definitely notable. It's interesting to watch in conjunction with this movie because it's made 10 years later,
Yeah,
and the cinematography and filmmaking techniques of the 2000s differs very much from the filmmaking techniques of the 90s.
and it's
And you
Ridley
can see
Scott
that.
as well, so it's
Yes.
yeah, and it's also Ridley just getting to the end of his peak where his films dip in quality, which me and Kyle touched on
Yeah,
Gladiator
in your
one. Yeah,
Gladiator.
yeah. I
Yeah.
think that because I know American Gangster come out in '07, and I think Hannibal was '01, so it was
Yeah.
just kind of, well, it was the year after Gladiator as well, so he was still
Mhm.
very much Oscar filmmaker, but yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Definitely. Yeah, there are some interesting things that go into the differences here, but one of my favorite things that Anthony Hopkins did in Silence of the Lambs that I don't feel like he really does. I'm trying to find the other name. But oh, here it is. He took inspiration in Silence of the Lambs from Katharine Hepburn and the way that she speaks, as well as one of his uh, British friends. Let's see.
I know
Um,
I do have some written down about that. I know he also
yeah,
said that he took inspiration from Hal out of
yeah,
2001: A Space Odyssey.
yes, yeah. That like monotone eeriness.
It's
It's
robotic how he talks.
interesting.
It's just
Yeah.
so like every word is with intention, and you
Hmm.
don't. It's unnerving how he talks, and
Oh
just
yeah.
what a calm. It again, it's kind of like he's got a bedside manner because obviously he's a psychologist. So
Hmm.
and comes through. It shows.
Oh yeah. Well, and that's the thing is that he knows exactly how to hold himself because that's his profession, that's what he did in his life. And I think that it's interesting the only times he's really raising his voice is when he's calling her back. Is
Yes.
that moment when he's yelling for her to come back and then immediately it's back to that like propriety of he knows how to act
Yeah.
and so it's so interesting and even when he says like that was rather slippery of you. It's not even like he's upset. It's just he's just calling it out. And you know what
Yeah.
is interesting is I listened to this book as an audiobook,
Right.
and that's exactly how the person reading the audiobook did it. Is just very relaxed, just and so that was interesting. I also think it was interesting that he doesn't blink. And
Yes.
that was some inspiration. It says he borrowed interpretation of Dr. Hannibal Lecter um, from a friend in London who rarely blinked when speaking, which unnerved everyone around him. And it's true. And I
Yeah.
read that and then I watched this movie again and I noticed that and I would try to go the whole scene without blinking like he does, like in his gaps that he doesn't blink. And I was like, I can't do it. I
Yeah.
don't know
Yeah.
why I did it. But yeah, it was just so intentional.
I think where the not blinking really stands out is when he's in the straitjacket on the yeah, the words
Like
left
the
my mind.
dolly.
The dolly,
Yeah.
yeah, with the mask
Hmm.
on, and his eyes are just piercing, and you're like,
Yeah.
this is terrifying.
Hmm.
Like, because I know I read that it was kind of almost his last shot he was taking at becoming a star in Hollywood because he'd obviously been a
Mm,
TV actor and like he was popular over here, but he hadn't really broke America. And then after that,
yeah.
obviously he got what is it, 6 Oscar noms and 2 wins? Like
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and then it was just off to the
Yeah.
races for him.
Mhm.
And I mean, it's again, I think it's a fairly easy question because we're already hitting on it. But how do you think it's aged, and why would you think that it? Because I know it got voted in the Hall of Film in the first
Mhm.
section of voting, like pretty
Yeah.
easily. And just why do you think people voted it in, and how it's aged?
Well, I think honestly this is aged so gracefully. There's really not even too much that doesn't make it timeless. The only thing I could see is like if it was made now, there's the question of, oh, isn't there like can't they track her phone?
Yeah,
You know, like if they had an iPhone or if there were cameras a little bit more like accessible.
yeah,
But even then, I don't even question this movie. I think it could have been made right now with the way it is.
yeah,
And again, this is a one in a million. I do think that the 90s did add some context to the filmmaking, like I was talking about. But I just think that you get so enthralled in this story, you don't question anything about it,
yeah,
really. Like, there's nothing that I really question when it comes to this. And I think too, it's it's one that I mean, I got to experience it for the first time, and so did you. Like right now in our lives, we're the same age. And it's
yeah,
like we didn't grow up just knowing this movie existed and kind of seeing it every now and again. It's like, no, we were intentional about seeing it. And now it's
yeah,
like, wow, we both have fully formed frontal cortexes and we're able to like appreciate it for what it is. And we're still just completely blown away.
yes,
And I think that that speaks so much to it. It's not just like this hype of the time. It's not like I'm, going and whoa, this is
yeah.
so cool. You know what I mean?
It's not like some
It's
other films in the 90s where everyone was like, "Oh, this won everything at the Oscars," and then you watch it and you're like, "Really?"
what?
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like one of those,
exactly.
like, obviously it won the Big Five, and we'll get onto that later, and it's one of only three films to
Mhm.
do it. But you're
Yeah.
also like, that it should have won more. Like, it should have got
Mhm.
to near the record, to be honest, because
Yeah.
it's just everybody nailed their part, whether it's in front of the camera
Mhm.
or behind it. Like,
So true.
it's so well made. And
Mhm.
I mean, there's a lot of scenes that always stick out for me, but you can pick more than one because I know there's a lot. But what scenes and like quotes really stick out for you?
I would say their first introduction, I really love when he's just standing in the middle, and I think that that's one of the most notable scenes,
Yeah,
right? I think that his performance, I could watch that monologue and just that interaction over and over again,
yeah,
and I have. It's so good. It is so good. He's like hypnotic with how intentional he is because it's like I've never met a person that talks like this.
yeah,
But he's so proper. It's eerie. It's like unsettling in a whole different way that I've never seen before. So I love that scene. I really love the way that Jodie Foster interacts in that scene as well, where she's also trying to be proper, but she's clearly feeling a little bit like a duck out of water.
yeah,
Like this is her first interaction, and that may I speak with you? And yeah, like she feels a little timid, but then I don't know. She just does really well at the end when she's called back and she's like, "Let me talk to you about this,"
yeah,
So it's interesting. And then I also just the other one I feel like that really stands out to me is their interaction again when he is in the like cage in the room and she's walking around the entire
yeah,
thing and it's not just like facing the glass this time like she has in every other interaction. It's like she's able to see him more almost intimately, and I don't want to
yeah,
say that implying like romance, but it's more of an intimate reaction, and
yeah,
he has that little touch of her finger, and it's just it's like, oh
yeah,
whoa, like that's yeah, it's just stuff like that where it's like if someone scraping someone else's finger can linger with me for forever
yeah,
and make me feel that way,
yeah,
there's something notable, there's
yeah.
something incredibly notable.
Like, I think as well, like the first interaction. I mean, I've never seen anybody stand so creepily. Like it, nobody has that perfect posture. Like it's
No.
unsettling that he's got it.
Yeah.
It's like in One Battle After Another, just the sort of thing that Sean Penn does, where he changes his walk, and you're just constantly thinking about it. It's the same thing with that. Like
Mm.
the physical acting from Hopkins, it stays with you. But I
Yeah.
also think like that first interaction, she's talking to him and approaching him how the book says and how the training says. And then she
Mhm.
quickly realizes that's not how it works in the real world. Like you
Yeah.
can't apply it. And then, as you said, in that cage meeting, I think she knows that and she's approaching it kind of the correct way, and he almost respects
Mhm.
it because he's like,
Mhm.
"Oh, okay, you've learned this is how it works." And it's
Yeah.
like, for a guy who's trapped in a cage, I don't think there's anybody in this whole film with more power.
Oh, yeah.
Like
No way.
he knows he's getting out, and he knows
Mhm.
exactly how. Like he's planned this out, and he's 50 steps ahead of anybody.
Mhm. Oh, yeah. I think too there's a whole conversation about, like, why, because nobody can get to Lecter. That's the
Yes.
thing, is, like, he's even said, and Crawford even talks about, like, nobody really can interact with this guy. Dr. Chilton even acknowledges it, of like, "You're not gonna do well in there, sweetie, but okay, welcome, I
Yeah.
guess. Here's your badge." And I think that there's so much to say for how much he respects her because she's willing to shift.
Yeah.
And I think that's so interesting, is because even in their first interaction, you know that he finds respect for her. Um, when he calls her back. And
Yeah.
that's so interesting because it's like, why? Why do you respect her when you didn't show respect for her right then, or you know what I mean? And and it's because he respects her as an intellect,
Yeah.
and she starts to challenge him in ways that people haven't, by just being herself. And I think that that speaks so much to it. And like you said, she was trying to follow the book and she had to quickly be like, that is not going to work.
Yeah.
That's not going to work here. Yeah.
Yeah. I also think like when they're talking for the first time before he calls her back, he's almost doing a psychological profile on her. Because
Oh yeah.
obviously with his
Oh
work,
yeah.
he knows. Oh yeah, she's actually going to bend to my demands a little, and I can probably like he uses her but respects her. That's why like at the end
Mhm.
he said, "I'm not coming
Yeah.
after you," like because he's got no interest in hurting her because he's like, no, she's actually worthy of living almost.
Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah.
then obviously when he sees Chilton, I'm seeing an old friend.
Mhm.
I'm having an old friend for dinner,
Having
and
an
it's
old friend
like,
for
yeah,
dinner.
that's one of the best. Like everybody always like that's got to be just one of the best end scenes in a film.
Oh yeah.
I really think it's so good.
Oh, it's so good. It's haunting.
It
It's
is.
haunting because he's like in this place that seems tropical and he's got this little fedora on, like he's going to be on a trip, and it's like he is going to eat that man,
Yeah.
which is just so scary.
And also the wig
Yeah.
that I still, again, something that you think about. Is it a wig or is it somebody's scalp? Because it's
Oh,
probably somebody's scalp.
I mean, he wore someone else's face.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
If he's wearing
you
another
never
man's
know.
face, it's probably a scalp.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Um,
Oh
yeah.
gosh.
I mean, going on to the facts because there is a lot of trivia about
Mhm.
this film. I mean, my favorite thing with the podcast, and just something I can't wait to do with all the films, is the casting facts, because some of the casting choices that almost happen in films are so confusing.
Crazy.
Because do you know about the casting or potential casts of what this film could have been?
No.
Oh, okay, brilliant. Because this is what I always want. I never want people to know, so I can just see the shock and horror.
Surprise.
Yeah, I mean, for Clarice, Demi's first pick was Michelle Pfeiffer, but she
What?
said no because she got nervous about the subject matter and she didn't want to do it.
Really?
Yeah,
That kind of surprises me. She's been in some
she's been in
other
some risque films. Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, then he asked Meg Ryan, and she said
Hmm.
no because of the gruesome themes as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the studio wasn't convinced by Laura Dern that she was a bankable choice, so they
Oh,
said
but
no
she
to her.
wanted it?
Yeah, she auditioned for it, but they were like, we can't bank on her making us money. Which it's funny now
Yeah.
seeing Oscar winner, and if it was made
Yeah.
now, they'd be like, oh hell yeah, Laura Dern, yeah.
Well, and she became so famous with Jurassic Park, like, what, 2 years later?
I was gonna say, yeah.
Yeah, it was like 2
They were
years later.
somewhere like, okay, thank God we got Foster because that could have been embarrassing.
Yeah, yeah.
Then Molly Ringwald auditioned, but they deemed her too young for the role.
Yeah, I couldn't see that.
No, I
I could
was
not
just
see that
like
one.
Breakfast Club meets serial killer. I was like,
Well, she also just maybe in her performances, she yells too much.
she does.
And
Like, no
I do love
disrespect
her
to any of
movies.
those women, Jodie Foster was the
No.
only person who could have done this.
Yeah, I think Meg Ryan could have been really interesting. I'd like to see that. Like
Yeah,
if there was like an audition tape or just like a sample, I'd love to see that cuz I mostly think of her in like rom-coms,
yeah,
or so I don't know, it would be really nice to see, and I think that she could have brought that same kind of innocence that Jodie Foster brings, but I just think also like Jodie Foster is too
too good.
good.
Yeah.
She's too good. Yeah, and she
Well,
was so perfect for this role.
it's funny because she auditioned and Demi said no, he didn't. He wasn't convinced because she read the novel and she was like, "I
Mm,
need to do this role," and she
yeah.
auditioned and she kept like going back and pestering them, and
Mhm,
he ended up changing his mind because of just how persistent she was, and then obviously the rest
mm,
is history. So
yeah.
thank God Jodie Foster was like, "No, I'm give me this role," because no, by the
Yeah.
sounds of it, weirdly nobody else wanted it.
Fools.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And then my personal favourite is the casting of Lecter and what could have been, because as much as I respect and love Jonathan Demme as a filmmaker just for this, his
Yeah.
first choice of actors, oh my. So his first choice for Lecter was Sean Connery.
No,
I
not
I'm
at
I
all.
I love Sean Connery, but
Yeah.
he Lecter would have been Scottish because that man can't do any other accent.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's also too handsome.
Yeah.
That's the thing is like he's a heartthrob,
Well,
and
this would
it's
have
not
been
that I
around the
don't
time
think.
of The Rock as well, so it's kind of
Yeah.
older looking Sean Connery,
Yeah.
which is still handsome Sean Connery,
Well, it's
but
like he's still got it going on.
yeah,
Like him and that Indiana Jones with
yes,
Harrison Ford. I was like, I'm sorry, you can't convince me that you're not still like hot.
yeah.
So I think he still would have been too good looking.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
Connery actually turned it down. I'm not sure the reason why, but he was like, no. And it was
I'm
like,
too
okay.
handsome.
Yeah,
I'm just
and
kidding.
Hopkins was actually offered the role based on his performance from The Elephant Man. So I think Demi
Really?
watched that and was like, "Oh, this dude could be
Hmm.
a good lector." Um,
Oh, yeah.
and then the other people that were considered, but didn't get an audition or didn't go for it, but they were considered by the studio, was Al Pacino, which could have been, from an acting point of view,
Ooh.
could have been good. From a visual point of view, no.
Yeah.
Because this is
I don't.
this is early 90s Pacino, so he's not gone full Pacino yet.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I just also haven't really seen him as much. I mean, in The Godfather, like the first Godfather, maybe a little, but could I see him as an academic?
Yeah,
I
70s
don't know.
Pacino, I think I could, but
Yeah.
anything else,
Yeah.
no. De Niro went for it, which I could see
I could see
because,
that.
like Cape Fear, he plays one of the most sadistic people in that,
Oh,
so
yeah. Well,
he's
Taxi
more.
Driver too, you see
Exactly,
that like
yeah.
psychotic break.
He can do psychotic stuff, but I don't know about like the almost smart turn of Lecter.
Yeah.
Dustin Hoffman was also considered.
I could s-
That
I
yeah,
could
I
see
could
that
say that.
most of all. I
Yeah,
could see that most of any of them.
Derek Jacobi was also considered, which would have
Who
been
is that?
He was in. He's been in so many things. He's like
What
a
the heck?
Shakespearean actor.
Oh, yeah. Okay, wow. I could maybe see that.
Yeah.
But you know what? He also has a little bit too sweet of a face.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. He's got a
Uh,
sweet face.
the one person who actually auditioned for it as well was Forrest Whitaker, which I
Okay.
I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And then the other person that I saw, and I love Hopkins, but I was like, out of all the choices, this is the one where I'm like, I need to see that. If there's an audition tape, they need to release it. Was Daniel Day Lewis?
Okay. Yeah.
That's the one I
He
can
would have been
see.
so great too.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean,
I would
him
never
him
ever
method acting
replace.
that would have been insane.
Oh yeah. Well, you know what? He could hold still. He could do. I
Yeah,
don't know if he would choose to the way that Hopkins did. There's always like intentionality. Well, a choice, right? Like you choose what you do with the role. But he could have done something really beautiful, and I could buy him as an academic.
yeah.
Like, I really think that's the biggest thing is like you gotta buy him as someone who is a doctor who
Yes,
of psychology, you know? Yeah.
and apparently it's only British people that can do that for this specific character.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, I mean, the big thing about Silence of the Lambs was when the book come out, there was an agreement that it was going to be made a film, and the person who
Mhm.
owned the rights to that was Gene Hackman,
Really?
who was going to direct it and star in it. I'm not sure whether as Lecter,
Wow.
but he was going to. That was the plan. And
I
then
could see him as Crawford
a couple years
or
went by,
yeah.
and they chose not to do it. It didn't work out. They sold the rights, and obviously the rest is history. But that could have been
Yeah.
a complete different film.
Oh, absolutely. Um there's it's so interesting because Manhunter came out in 1986, and that's something to kind of talk about of like there was a Lecter already who had been played in by Brian Cox.
Yeah,
And so it was like when you read Silence of the Lambs, what are you taking? Because this is Red Dragon. Have you seen Manhunter?
I haven't yet. No, there's a
That's
lot of the.
okay.
Yeah, I need to get into the universe of it all and see
It's
everything. But
okay. Yeah. Honestly, again, rabbit hole, Clarissa, hyperfixating Clarissa,
this is
wild.
what I want.
Yeah. It's interesting to see this movie Silence of the Lambs come out after. I mean, this was 1986, so we have it 5 years after Manhunter,
Yeah,
and seeing how Brian Cox had portrayed Lecter, and then later on Anthony Hopkins also plays Lecter in Red Dragon. We have him 3 times. We have him in the Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal, and Red Dragon.
yeah,
And so it's interesting to see, but it's also just interesting to see how people had taken Thomas Harris's works, and already tried to adapt them. I like Manhunter; it's visually beautiful, and I don't even mind Brian Cox as Lecter, but he just doesn't have that same feeling as Anthony Hopkins. And so that's kind of hard for
yeah,
me, but yeah, so Manhunter, like having an adaptation of Hannibal Lecter as a character, as a doctor before, and he's behind bars already. You really never see him free except for Hannibal.
yeah.
And there's a bit at the beginning of Red Dragon, not Manhunter. He's behind bars the whole time in Manhunter, but in the Red Dragon, it opens with him before being arrested.
Right.
So by Will Graham, and he's talking to Will Graham. So anyway, some interesting stuff there. But yeah, it's an interesting universe to get into, and adaptations of Harris's work is really interesting because he's an amazing writer. But yeah, I that's so interesting that Gene Hackman. But I don't think I could have seen him as Lecter. But yeah, I could have seen
Yeah,
him as Dr. Chilton or Crawford
yeah. I
for
agree.
sure.
I
Yeah.
agree. Um, I mean, yeah, as we mentioned, Hopkins developed his portrayal from Hal out of 2001 Space Odyssey, as well as this was the other thing. He also copied vocal patterns from Truman Capote.
That's the other one I was thinking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 which really fun biopic, which was Philip Seymour Hoffman playing him. Which again,
Mm.
that was one guy I thought about. I could see maybe doing an interesting Lecter spin.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah,
Yeah. Hmm.
yeah. And as I mentioned as well, this is one of only 3 films to win the Big Five at the Oscars, and the other being It Happened One Night and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah.
And I mean, the fact there's only 3 ever is crazy,
It's
and
mind-blowing.
the fact that this is one of them is even more kind of crazy when you think about the Academy and usually their voting choices. This is not what they go for.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I mean, this is a horror thriller.
Yeah,
It's rare
they
to see this.
neglect horrors all the time.
They really do. They do. It's such an important genre. It also is like you're accessing different emotional chemicals in your body when you watch a horror movie compared to a drama,
Yeah,
right? Like there's a psychological side to horror which is really fun to talk about, but it just doesn't get the love that it doesn't get the love that it needs for the reaction that it gets
I
in
totally
audience
agree.
members.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
One question we actually got, which was from the question queen herself, Heather Stewart.
Love it.
She asked, she asked the big question that I actually hadn't written down somehow, but do you think Anthony Hopkins' performance is a support or a lead?
Oh, this is so interesting because he's only in it for 16 minutes.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Um
which is crazy
so
because
crazy. It doesn't
all,
feel like it.
again, a testament to the acting and the writing. Every scene you think about Silence of the Lambs is Hopkins. So
Yeah.
the fact he's done that with 16 minutes of screen time is crazy.
Yeah. Well, it's notable, right? And I think we probably had more time with Crawford than with him, but I would say that he's actor, not supporting,
Yes, yeah.
because he's too much of a contributor. He's
How I
like the
describe it
catalyst.
is it's supporting time but lead performance.
Yes, yeah, perfect. That's the best way to describe it. He's too important. There's not. I mean, I would even say he's more important than Buffalo Bill, which is who they're hunting down.
Yeah,
He's too big of a role, too big of a contributor, and he has been a massive part of the FBI uh, throughout his whole life. And so it's
yeah,
like his involvement, his escape is terrifying because it's not like somebody who's still out there and they're trying to find. It's like we had him and he's
yeah.
gone, and it was so violent. He'll eat the face off anyone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that whole scene and like just the genius of sending the elevator up and down and then
yeah.
leaving the guard dressed as him on top of the elevator. So they're
Hmm.
like, "Oh, we've got him." And
It got me the first time.
you then, I think when they do the shot in the leg, you realize, oh, like he's 20 steps ahead
Yeah, it's not him.
again.
I didn't see that coming because
No,
I
I
read the
didn't
book
the first
after, and
time.
I was like, yeah.
Another question from Heather, which you can touch on more, is what do you think of the depiction of Julianne Moore versus Foster playing Clarice?
We had to get into it. It's hard because when I first saw that there was Hannibal and that it was Julianne Moore, I was like, oh, you know what? That's not a bad casting if you can't have Jodie Foster, right?
Yeah,
I love Julianne Moore. I love her in everything I've ever seen her in. But when I was watching it, she just wasn't Clarice. And that's hard because and again, to be fair, and like going back to this 2000s thing, this feels like a 2000s movie. And I do not feel like this is what Clarice would look like 10 years later.
right. Yeah,
She is just like a little bit too action movie
right.
esque. And like everything she's wearing, she looks like she's in the FBI, but she was like a soccer player in high school. In a way, like I don't know. I just didn't buy it. I also didn't buy like this long straight hair look. I feel like Clarice Starling is a little bit too proper. And the long, really stick straight hair from Julianne Moore, which this is just nitpicky, but still, it's there. It's the feeling of it.
Yeah,
It feels too 2000s and it feels young. Like I grew up doing theater and they would talk about how short hair makes you look older and long hair makes you look young. And so when we were trying to portray a young character, we would wear our hair down,
right.
and when we were trying to portray someone older, we had to put our hair up and to look older because we were high school kids playing older characters, right? So like when I was playing an older woman, I had my hair in a low bun in the back because it
Right.
looked older. But Julianne Moore having like kind of longer stick straight hair, I was like, you feel like you're in the FBI at the same time as the original Clarice Starling. And this doesn't
Yeah.
seem like a 10 years later kind of feel. Um, and her performance was fine, but I just didn't buy it as much.
Right.
And she lost the accent a couple times, which is one of the biggest things that you talk about with Jodie Foster's performance and is confronted by Anthony Hopkins. And I say Anthony Hopkins because he's the one who chose to mock her
Yeah.
accent. It wasn't in the script, it wasn't chosen. It was him deciding to mock the accent, and that's what took her back, which is one of those kind of behind the scenes. But she was like more terrified of Hopkins because he decided to do that.
Yeah.
And so to lose the accent a little is like, oh man, that's a big part. You have to be on top of that.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because, sorry, um, Jodie Foster didn't take the role in Hannibal because she didn't feel like the ending aligned with what would be true to Clarice. She didn't feel like, so the book. Do you know how the book of Hannibal ends?
I don't.
They run off together.
Wow.
Yeah, and they like make love and are together. Um
Wow.
yeah. Yeah. So Julianne Moore and Anthony Hopkins kiss in Hannibal, but Jodie Foster read the book and was like, I don't think Clarice ever would have done this. This is not who she is. She would not have been in love with him. This is more of like a respect as an intellectual
Yeah.
and as like an equal. They see each other as equals, not a romantic love. Even though there's some implications of that in Silence of the Lambs, of like people will think we're in love and the way he
Yeah.
touches her finger. Um, but the way that it's handled in Hannibal is interesting, and I feel like I love that Jodie Foster said no because of that. But it's interesting they changed the ending to the movie of Hannibal away from the book, and it's actually something that would have aligned with what Jodie Foster wanted. And
That
so I think
sucks.
Jodie Foster was like, I know. So I think Jodie Foster later, don't quote me on this, but I think she later was like, oh, that's an ending I would have approved of.
Right.
But they did like End of Hannibal. He has Clarice and he says, if you said right now to me, if you love me, leave with me, stop this. Would you say that to me? Would
Right.
you say that you love me and run away with me? And she says no. And yeah, anyway, it's just interesting. Hannibal
That is
gets away,
really
and
interesting. Yeah.
yeah, but there's a lot of romantic tones in Hannibal, and I really respect that Jodie Foster didn't do it.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, kind of going back to the question, this is a huge tangent because it's a huge
No,
question,
I
right?
was going
Like
to
you
say, yeah,
have,
yeah.
yeah, I was like, you have someone taking the place of someone who won an Academy Award for her performance. You're replacing a character who
Yeah,
has won
I was
Academy
about to
Award.
say, I think the biggest thing as well why it probably doesn't work, she's replacing one of the all-time performances.
Ever
So,
from a woman.
and I think what also didn't help was the fact that Hopkins come back. So it was like you're 90% there, and
Hmm.
you didn't get Foster back.
Yeah.
If
Yeah,
it
it
was a
loses
different
it.
lector as well, fine,
Yeah, then
fine.
it's like fanfic and you'll take
Yeah,
it for whatever, wah.
yeah. You're like, oh, this is a spin-off that no one approved of, but hey, we're going with it. But Hopkins
Mhm.
in it, you're like, and why isn't Foster playing Clarice?
Yeah.
And then
Yep.
yeah,
That's why. I really respect it. And that's the hard thing, is that it's like I don't really respect Hannibal too much as a movie.
Right.
I see it as fanfic. I see it as
Yeah,
like
with
take
the
it or leave
the
it.
romance, yeah, that's like somebody watched
Yeah.
Silence of the Lambs, saw the finger touch, and went, "Oh, they fall in love," and it's like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's why it's literally fan fiction. Is that it's
yeah,
and Thomas Harris wrote it. That's the thing is that it's like he wrote it I almost feel like banking off of that. Let me actually look. I'm not sure when Hannibal the book was published compared to
like
uh
I'm
Silence.
1988.
Yes. Oh wait, no, The Silence of the Lambs came out before, but Hannibal published in 1999.
Oh, okay, right.
I think let me look. Um
Yeah, 88 was the
yeah.
first book, right?
Yeah, so then he banked on what everyone liked and wanted from the movie, probably, I'm assuming,
So he did
which
fanfic of his own book,
Amazon stuff. I don't know, which is I didn't read Hannibal. It's the only one I didn't read. I did read Red Dragon and I
right?
did read The Silence of the Lambs, but I didn't. This is so funny, and it so speaks to me being a college student right now. But I was like, it wasn't for free on Spotify, so I didn't read it.
Oh, okay, yeah,
I
fair
didn't have
enough.
it. It's like Red Dragon and Silence of the Lambs were free audiobooks on Spotify, and so I was like, I'll do it. Hannibal wasn't, so I was like, whatever. Didn't love the movie anyway. But yeah, so I think that that's kind of interesting. If you're gonna watch Hannibal, take it for what it is. Take it with a grain of salt. It's still a good movie. I still think
Yeah,
it's a pretty well done movie. I love Gary Oldman and everything I've ever seen Gary Oldman in.
yeah. Gary Oldman's
Um,
never not a good thing in a film.
yeah, but his character is really interesting, and I think he adds like hardly anything. Um, so yeah, again, take Hannibal as like a piece of fanfic and move on. But that's
Yeah,
why it's like fine to me that it's Julianne Moore because it doesn't add the credibility of the movie. And it's
yeah.
like there's not really much there anyway.
Like in your
So
head, it's like Silence of the Lambs is the thing. Everything else doesn't exist.
yeah, well, you know what? I actually really enjoyed Red Dragon. I would even consider Red Dragon truth and not
Right.
fanfic. But it's because there's no romantic interaction with Lecter at all. And there's
Yeah.
the show Hannibal that has
Mads Mikkelsen.
yes,
I love Mads Mikkelsen. Like I can. That's one
me
guy. I'm
too.
like, oh yeah, he could do a lecture. Like,
Yeah, he definitely can. Um, I'm gonna sneeze. Oh, sorry. No, I'm not. Okay, we're fine. Anyway, so and it has oh my gosh, what is his name from Elle Enchanted, which is the silliest thing that's what I know him from. Um because that was my childhood, but let's see. Oh, Hugh Dancy as
right.
Will Graham. He's adorable, but I do hear that there's kind of like a romantic vibe between Will Graham and Hannibal Lecter in that show. I haven't watched it because I don't want to see Mads Mikkelsen as Hannibal, which is silly. Everyone has told me he's amazing, but
Yeah.
I'm just like such a diehard fan of Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah.
And I went down the Anthony Hopkins rabbit hole too. I watched probably 12 of his movies after this. And so I was like, it's not even just Hannibal Lecter as a character,
Yeah.
it's Anthony Hopkins as Hannibal as a character. So yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, so anyway, long tangent, but Julianne Moore, she's fine. It's just fanfic.
Yeah. Another question that got asked was from Joylan, who said, "Is the Lecter mask the perfect mask? If not, what is?" And that was an
Mm.
interesting one because I also know that the guy who designed the mask for the film was the guy who designed like all the hockey masks that NHL players had in the 90s
Ooh,
and the
I didn't know
80s.
that.
Like when they had all the cool designs and stuff, that was him who designed that. So hence why it's like almost
Wow.
half a hockey mask kind of thing.
Yeah, well, he's got the credibility then.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There's probably no one better qualified for that.
Yeah.
I mean, for
Wow.
me, mask, I mean, obviously, like Darth Vader's mask is always a standout.
Yeah.
Again, another standout, and also hockey related, Jason Voorhees.
Yeah,
Just
for
something
sure.
simple.
Totally.
I also then have the Hanya mask from Onibaba, which is a awesome mask, which is the
I
Japanese
haven't
horror.
seen that.
That is a
Wait, let
fun
me look
film.
that up. How do you spell that?
Onibaba, Nonibaba. Uh, so
Oh,
yes, yeah,
yes.
it's a great
Yeah.
film.
Crazy.
And
Yeah, that is
then
a crazy mask.
the other one, which you'll love and you might have also selected, is V for Vendetta, the Guy Fawkes mask.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah,
Love. Absolutely. Wow. I think that this mask is perfect for Hannibal Lecter.
yeah. I think that's the
Because
thing.
his
It's
eyes are so
like,
haunting.
yeah, I think it's a mask that's probably, there's not many more masks more perfect for a character in film, is how I'd
Yeah.
describe it.
Yeah. Nice. Well, you came up with some really great masks. Those are great. I feel like I have to think about it a little bit. But yeah, so would you put it up there with those masks?
Yeah, yeah, I really would.
Nice.
But just because,
Okay.
as I say, like, just to what it adds to the film. Like, it's not like, oh, guy's got a mask on. It's like, oh, that's one of the, again, one of the standout scenes and moments that people still bring up and talk about.
Yeah. It's so true. And it's only used, I mean, we see him without the mask too,
Yeah,
which is interesting because it's like another mask that came to mind is Michael Myers,
yes.
which is actually a Captain Kirk mask,
Which is
which is
hilarious
hilarious.
because that's the,
So
the
funny.
least William Shatner looking thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, they really ripped that mask a new one,
Yeah,
which is so funny to me. But that's an iconic one. But again, we actually do see Michael Myers' face
yeah,
in the first Halloween. And I have only seen the first Friday the 13th, so I only know Mrs. Voorhees.
right.
But I'm pretty sure we don't really see too much of Jason's face in the
Uh, we
franchise.
do see his face a couple
Yeah.
times, but
Okay.
yeah, I
Well,
think
I mean,
as
we see him
well.
jump out of the lake.
Yes, I think the thing as well with the Lecter mask, like, you can view it as two different things. Like, when he doesn't have the mask on, he's more like his calm, like, psychological professional self, and then when that
Hmm.
mask, every time he's got the mask on or the cage around his face, he's unhinged. Like,
Oh
that's when
yeah.
the act drops almost.
Nice. Nice observation. Totally. You're so right. I had never noticed that before.
Yeah, it went until I
But he
watched, I was
is.
like, every time he's really not his calm demeanor, it's when he's
Hmm.
got when he's masked almost, which is
Yeah.
funny because I think the act of him being normal is the mask without it physically being on him almost as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think too, it's like you've taken my violent power from me because like he's most violent with his mouth.
Yeah,
Um, and that's honestly verbally too. But the only time I can think of him being quiet in the mask is when he was locked up and Dr. Chilton is in there searching
yeah,
his room. But he's like the most diabolical we've
yeah,
seen him thus far is when he's staring at that pen in the mask. And so it's just as eerie and I mean, you could even argue that it's him also being loud,
yeah,
because he's showing us what his actions are and that he's about to be violent and that
yeah,
he's going to find a way out.
yeah.
So, yeah, interesting. I love that though. Wow. Oh my gosh. The English major in me is like you could write a whole paper on his interaction with the mask. Yeah,
Yeah,
cool.
also looking, it was the fifth highest grossing film of 1991, which, for
Mm,
what it is, and probably no one was hyped for it in 91, that's really, really impressive because that's just through
massive.
word of mouth, because obviously no
Hmm.
social media, so it's people telling
Yeah.
people, hey, go watch this film.
Yeah.
I mean,
Totally.
like,
Well, and like you said,
the
he hadn't really broken
ironically,
out.
that year as well was, as I mentioned earlier, Cape Fear with Robert De Niro, so
Yeah.
that was a year for psychotic people.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah, and the other four films that outgrossed it was Hook, Beauty and the Beast, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, and the number one
Classic.
highest grossing film by far that year was Terminator 2: Judgment Day.
Okay, yeah, valid.
So we get we
Understandable.
get some family friendly stuff, and then two utterly insane films.
Yeah. Well, and the other movies have banked on either already really high grossing studios
Yeah,
or like Beauty and the Beast. We had how many other Disney musicals? You know what I mean? Like she was the next Disney princess.
yeah.
And so it's like, of course, that's going to gross like nobody's business. And then
And
Terminator
Terminator
2.
2, yeah, it's the second
Yeah, we
one
had
after a really
Terminator.
successful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah.
that
Robin
just
Hood,
come out
Prince
of
of
nowhere. Yeah.
Thieves.
Which
That's really fun.
which ironically I know is one of Heather's favourite films.
Oh yeah,
So,
she's going to come chat about it on my show. It's
well,
one that I don't think people talk about enough, but
yeah, that's going to be
yeah.
3 hours, and that's just Heather talking about the
Yeah.
film, which is going to
Oh
be great.
yeah. Uh-huh.
Another question that Heather actually asked, which is
Mhm.
one that I got you to think about, was speaking of the Big Five winners, what other ones could have won or should have won the Big Five? And I know Heather, when she messaged me that question, she did say, and network is the correct answer.
Really?
So, yeah,
Love it. Love it. Yes. I love that she threw one in. I haven't
yeah.
seen that.
I
So
haven't. It's on my list, and I need to get to
it's
it
been on my
quick.
list, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's notable. And especially from Heather, I absolutely trust her taste.
Yes,
So
exactly. And I know Andrew
um
is also a huge network guy, so
yeah. Okay.
I did write some down. Uh,
Go for it.
one
Let's hear him.
one I'm shocked didn't get because it won best adapted, it won
Mhm.
best actress, it won best picture, it won best director. It didn't win best actor, and that is Gone with the Wind. Clark
That was what
Gable,
I was going to
like
say.
Clark Gable as well, like, and the Oscar credit he's got. How the
Yeah.
hell didn't he get the win
Oh
for
my
that?
gosh. Yeah.
Uh,
How?
Another one that I put down, actually, it didn't get nominated, I don't think, or it certainly didn't win anything, but it could have won and qualified for all five. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Yeah.
And then the
So
big one
true.
for me, and I know you'll love this, is La La Land.
That's what I was going to say.
Because obviously Emma Stone won, Damien Chazelle won. It didn't win Best
Mhm.
Picture, even though it did for like 30 seconds. It
Oh,
didn't win Best Original, and Ryan Gosling didn't win Best Actor, but we got
yeah.
close.
Yeah. That is obviously the first one that came to mind for me.
Yeah.
Too great. I also thought of honestly Roman Holiday.
Ooh.
I wish that had won all of them. Audrey Hepburn did win, and we did have adapted screenplay as a win for that one. But yeah, I feel like Gregory Peck absolutely deserved the win for that. I think it deserved Best Picture. That movie is so beautiful. And the other one that I thought of, I actually just did an episode on this movie. And it's one that maybe people will completely disagree with me for, but I just think it was way too perfect and way too well done. Too many amazing performances is What's Eating Gilbert Grape, and it
Right.
only received one nomination and it didn't win, and it was Leonardo DiCaprio, and he lost to Tommy Lee Jones in The Fugitive, which I have
Oh,
feelings
yeah.
about. I have a
Yeah.
lot of feelings about that.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, great movie,
I know
but
one
what?
person will disagree with that is Sarah Shay.
Yeah,
Because
I know she does not
yeah,
like him.
Leonardo DiCaprio, as she always calls him.
DiCaprio,
Yeah,
yeah. Sarah, we love you.
yeah.
But come
I'm
on.
excited to go on the Shutter Island episode and try
Yeah.
and defend it.
Yeah. Yeah. He just I'm sorry. There's also I mean, and I personally am someone who can absolutely separate the artist from the art.
Yeah,
And that's what I feel like I do a lot with Leo DiCaprio.
I
I
can with
also
some people, and then there's some that I cannot. Like, I know
yeah.
one that almost won the Big Five was American Beauty, which yeah.
Yeah.
And then another one was the Woody Allen film. I forgot what the name of it, but that
Is
almost
it
won the
Annie
Big Five.
Hall?
Yes, he just didn't win
Forgetting Annie
best.
Hall.
Yeah, he didn't win best
Hate
actor.
that
That was the
movie.
only thing. Everything else they won.
Yeah, so Woody Allen is really kind of the only person that I feel like I can't do that with,
Yeah,
because he brings his obvious discrepancies into his performances and his
yeah,
movies.
yeah.
Like, yeah, honestly, Kevin Spacey. So I was talking about this on Revisionist's Almanac yesterday, specifically American Beauty,
Right.
which is so interesting. Um, I wasn't alive when any of that happened, and I didn't know about any of it actually. And I knew that Kevin Spacey wasn't like a good person,
Yeah.
but I went into American Beauty actually completely blind.
Oh
And so
wow.
I just
Okay.
took that movie for what it was. And I tried to do that with Woody Allen too. I actually didn't know anything about him until watched I watched The Front first, and then I watched Annie Hall.
Right.
And when I watched Annie Hall, I was like, "This is so icky. What? This is so icky." And then I read, and I was like, "What?" I was like,
Yeah.
"Wow, it is icky because he's icky." And so I
Yeah.
was like, You can't separate it that way.
Yeah.
You can't."
There's some you can't.
Yeah. So with Leo, I'm like, yeah, weird and gross. But
Yeah.
I just watch his movies for what they are
Yeah.
as presented to me.
I
So
totally agree. And
yeah.
then I got you to prepare two top fives because that's one thing I always get people to do. And I mean, we'll go with the easier one. I feel is what are your top five Anthony Hopkins films?
Okay, fine. I guess I'll
I
choose
feel
them.
you're an expert in this, so I'll go
Yeah.
first and then I'll let you go. I mean,
Please. Yeah.
Silence of the Lambs, of course, as for all the
Yeah.
reasons we mentioned. Then I've got the Two Popes from 2019,
Nice.
which
Yeah.
that is a really good film that I did not
Mhm.
expect to be that good.
Yeah.
Then I've got The Elephant Man. I've
Nice.
got a fun one. I've got the Grinch because he's the narrator of it, and I
He
never knew that.
is.
I never knew
Love it.
that. And then I've got we've spoken about it a little. We need to all get on the episode and speak about it. It's Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Oh, yes. You kidding me?
Yeah,
Hello. I agree.
yeah,
Oh man. So great. Um quite a few that I would say as well. I actually The Elephant Man is one that I didn't get to see. But I would say, of course, Silence of the Lambs first
yeah.
place. Second, Bram Stoker's Dracula. So Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula. As Van Helsing, he's perfect. Um, Next, I would actually say Zorro,
Right,
The
okay.
Mask of Zorro. I love him so much in that movie. He is so great. That was actually my like childhood Anthony Hopkins movie. Um,
I feel like he's one of those guys. Even if he's not in like good films, he's still a bright spot. He's one of
yeah.
those. He's just what he always been one of those actors.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah. Well, you know what? I love that movie. I think that's a perfect movie. But I think it's also because he does such an amazing job in it. And like this vengeful father, amazing. So good. I really enjoyed him in Hitchcock. I would say Hitchcock, I gotta throw in there. I think that's a really great biopic. And there's nobody else I would want to play Hitchcock but Anthony
Yeah.
Hopkins. So I love that one. Am I at four? Yeah, I'm at four. Oh, crap. Oh my gosh. I'm like,
There's too
it's so
many.
much pressure. Uh, Ugh, there are way too many. Crap. There's
There
so
are.
much pressure. I'm like, I might honorable mention after, but you know what? I think I'm gonna say Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Oh, okay.
He plays the Hunchback, and he is so good. He plays Quasimodo, I should say, not even just the Hunchback. But he plays Quasimodo, and he's so good, and it's a really pretty emotional version. Um, but the way he speaks and interacts, it's just really brilliant. So I love that one. I'll say that for five, and kind of
Right.
take a younger Hopkins role. Another like honorable mentions. I'm absolutely gonna say Red Dragon,
Right.
Legends of the Fall, Meet Joe Black.
The rest of his filmography.
Yeah, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. One, though, that I watched of him when he was younger that almost took that 5th spot is called Magic. I
Okay.
think it's literally just called Magic. And it's him playing a ventriloquist. And his
I
dummy, like, speaks to
saw the
him.
poster for that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't know it existed, but he's, like, young in it.
Yeah,
And
I
it's
saw the poster
scary.
and I was like, that seems like an Anthony Hopkins film. Like,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
It so is. It
Uh,
so is.
the other top 5, which sounds hilarious to say, oh, what are your top 5 serial killers in film? But that was actually the question.
Yeah.
Um, and again, I'll go first and then I'll let you roll.
Mhm.
Obviously, I've got Hannibal Lecter on there because, I mean,
Yeah.
like, across not only the Hopkins one, but the rest, like, it's just such a iconic, I think, killer role. I've
Yeah.
then got John Doe from Seven, which
Nice. Yes.
unsettling. I've then also got Anton Chigurh from No Country for Old Men, because
Wonderful.
they try and say that he's like a contract killer, even though it's not contracts; it's a flip of the coin. Like,
Yeah.
that's not a
Yeah.
contract. Yeah.
No.
I've
That's a
then
good
got
choice.
Annie Wilkes from Misery.
Nice.
And then
Wonderful.
I was struggling not to go for like a more supernatural one like Kruger or Voorhees, but I've gone
Mhm.
with the TV one, even though I did say film. I've gone with Dexter Morgan because,
Nice.
yeah,
Totally. Great choices. Holy cow. Ugh. Um wow, there are
there is a
just too
lot of
many.
there are a lot.
Yeah. So right now I'm in a slashers class. And so we're
Right.
like studying and there's a difference between a slasher and a serial killer, right? There's more intentionality with a serial killer than a slasher, but there are some slashers that also intersect into being a serial killer.
Yeah. And then
So,
there's some that go lot supernatural where you're like, okay, you're neither.
yeah. Yeah.
Like Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, he's supernatural. Like, does he
Yeah.
really count?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say Norman Bates
Right.
for sure. Psycho. Also John Doe 7. Absolutely. But actually number 1, hello, how have I not mentioned Hannibal Lecter? He's number 1. Door, for
I feel
sure.
like that everybody, that was a given. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I love Christian Bale in American Psycho.
Great choice.
Yeah.
I
So
was
it's
debating him, but
3.
also it goes into the discussion of that film where it's like, is it all in his head or did it really happen?
Yeah. But you know, if you're seeing his kills, I mean, yeah, I don't think it happened for sure, but he's still psychotic enough that he's planned the
Yes.
kills of people he knows.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And ruined
So,
Huey Lewis and the news for everyone.
yeah. Yeah, forever.
Yeah.
Forever.
Yeah.
Um I I don't know. I also would probably say I've got to throw another old Hollywood one in there for sure. I mean, I've got Psycho, which is timeless, but there's a movie version of Jack the Ripper
Oh, okay.
from the 50s, and it's brilliant. Um, that is an amazing serial killer one. So maybe I'll throw that one in there. Am I at 4?
You're at 4, yeah.
Okay, one more. Rafe Fiennes in Red Dragon as
Okay.
a serial killer. His kills are insane. He's insane.
Anything
He's
Ray
so good.
finds, I'm
Anything
in.
Rafe finds.
Yeah.
Yeah. I might regret I might regret putting Jack the Ripper in there later
It's
because I
fine.
might remember something else. But that's a great one. It's so good. And it is, hello, Jack the Ripper.
Yeah.
Infamous serial killer.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay, I'm comfy. Fine.
Right.
But yeah, Rafe finds as in Red Dragon is oh my
That's
gosh.
another
Wow.
guy who would have been a great Lecter.
He would have been great. But
Because
I'm really
he was
grateful he was
almost
in Red
like,
Dragon.
yeah, he was how I always view Ray Fiennes in his performance. He was kind of like new age Hopkins, but actually got into Hollywood younger.
Yeah. Yep.
Like
Absolutely. I
how he
agree.
always carries himself in films is very Hopkins-esque, and his
He is.
performances as well. I
Hmm.
mean, one of the huge standouts as well with Silence of the Lambs for me is the movie poster. It is
Yeah,
incredible. It is
there
incredible.
it
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
And it was designed by Dawn Bailey, who also her first movie poster she ever designed was Dirty Dancing.
Ooh, great
She
poster.
also did Indiana Jones: The Last Crusade.
Okay.
She also did The Truman Show. She also did
Whoa.
Little Miss Sunshine. She also did
Wow.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. The Grand Budapest Hotel.
Yeah.
Barbie recently as well. And I believe
Great
she also
posters.
did Isle of Dogs and The Royal Tenenbaums and Zoolander and like a whole bunch of other. Yeah.
Oh my
When I
gosh.
learned about her, I was like, oh, okay, so this is the premier like movie poster maker that I
Yeah.
somehow didn't know about.
I didn't know about her.
No, but because I know it was somewhere in the States, I'm not sure where, but there was a like museum set up where it's all of her posters in like a show and tell kind of thing, and it looked
No
amazing.
way.
Yeah, like for
That's cool.
a film nerd that was like, okay, I want to see that. It was a proper
Yeah.
cool looking exhibition.
Yeah. Nice. No,
Yeah,
that's so cool. Movie posters are awesome.
they
Well,
are.
she did a
Yeah,
great job.
yeah. Is there, before we wrap this up, is there anything else of Silence of the Lambs that you have any more tangents on?
Oh my gosh. I have
Or
so
anything
many.
that you
It's
feel like we didn't talk about?
that we didn't talk about. We didn't really talk too much about Buffalo Bill.
True.
So maybe I'll throw a little chat in there about him and the way that Lecter interacted with analyzing Buffalo Bill. Just quick.
I think the
Um,
thing as well with
Perfectly
that,
cast.
it's all, yeah, yeah. Ted Levine is
Hmm.
incredible. I also
Brilliant.
feel like, considering Lecter profiles him and like that's the whole premise kind of the film, the fact
Hmm.
they never interact as well is also brilliant, because
Brilliant.
it feels like they could have, and I don't know what that would
Yeah.
have looked like, but
Well, he knows of him, right?
yeah,
And so
that's the
it's like
yeah,
there's that feel from Lecter in it that you kind of have to acknowledge of like he knew of at least, oh, Miss, what is her name? Or his name in the jar. I can't
yeah,
remember.
yeah,
Has a name. But I think it's interesting too that there is so much to talk about with gender in this film, and specifically with Buffalo Bill and his kills and wanting to create a skin suit to become a woman,
yeah,
but also how that interacts with Clarice and all of the like male gaze that she encounters in this movie. I mean, it's so undeniable and obvious how
yeah,
much she is the only woman in the room, how she's treated for being a woman. And so to have this interaction with this serial killer who's trying to become a woman
yeah,
and seeing how women are treated, there is so much to talk about there. And I feel like Ted Levine does an amazing job depicting that and gender and like the conversation of gender in this. And as well, like everything that Lecter has to say about being transgender, or as they call it, which is not the sensitive phrase in this at this time, like now, but
yeah,
transvestite,
yeah,
and like talking about that, like that conversation then of Buffalo Bill is not actually trying to be transvestite or transgender. He's confused about certain things and he has these different feelings.
yeah,
But there's this empowerment that uh James Gumb, who is our Buffalo Bill, has with wanting to be a woman, and then you're seeing all this treatment that women have. It's
yeah,
just so interesting. There's too much to break down there. Um, Again, another great thing to write for paper if
yeah,
anyone wants to
yeah,
write that. But there's no way it hasn't been written. Hello, it's so blatantly obvious, and also in the book too, the way that gender interacts. It's perfect. I think that also that's another thing that goes into Jodie Foster's performance is she's so short that when it comes to looking in the room, all of these men are like towering over her,
That's
even
the
if they weren't
thing I
super
was going to
tall.
say. Like when they did the autopsy of the body and how it's shot, it's just men surrounding over her,
Hmm.
like in
Yeah.
every angle of the shot. You're like,
Yeah.
wow, like it's quite striking.
Well, you know what? She is the only one really in that scene that is appalled.
Yeah,
And she's the one that asks for the respect of like, I need all of you guys to leave
yeah,
right now. You brought her this way, thank you. And she's respectful about it, but it's like, you need to go.
yeah,
This is not something that everyone needs to see. And it's like out of respect for this woman. Yeah, it is so interesting. Like, great point. Great moment to point out, too. Especially also before the autopsy when they're in the mortuary
yeah,
and there's a funeral going on. But also, like, Crawford leaves her with all of these men and they're just staring at her.
yeah.
And
It
they
gets
talk about
uncomfortable so quick.
it is so uncomfortable. And you know what? Like, I have to say, there have been times where I've been that woman in the room and like I've acknowledged that I feel uncomfortable because of the way that people look at me or like
Yeah,
men would look at me. And I'm like, that feeling is very real, but it's so uncomfortably obvious in this
yeah,
scene. Um, I don't know. So it's just even all of the assumptions made of her and the way Dr. Chilton treats her, Crawford treats her. Like it's just anyway. But it interacts very interestingly with specifically Buffalo Bill
yeah,
and Buffalo Bill being the character that like the killer that they're hunting down. So
yeah,
yeah, a lot of thoughts on that. But
yeah,
that's like probably the last thing I'd want to mention too is just how much gender plays into that.
yeah. And also the MVP of the film, Precious.
Precious. Yes.
Which, fun fact, the dog actually has a Wikipedia. The
No
dog,
way.
yeah,
You're kidding me.
the dog was called Darla, and actually, she ended up passing away in '92. So that was one of her like, which she did that because when she died, she was 16 or 17, which is really good age. So she was like
Yeah.
15 filming that film, which is crazy. The stuff to get the dog to
Wow.
do. That's quite old.
In her prime.
Yeah, in a prime.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
she was also in Batman Returns as well. So
No way.
yeah,
Wow.
Darla the
Drawing the
dog.
lines.
Yeah,
Famous Darla.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I think that's the best way to end
Yeah.
that on
Yeah.
on Precious.
Everyone go Google
Yeah,
Darla. Go find
yeah.
her wiki.
But before we end up wrapping this up, tell us what are your future projects and future appearances and everything that you've got coming out soon.
So awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I'm going to be working through my book until 2027 on my show because there are 100 movies. So
Yeah,
of course we have
I
like
will
2
be on
years.
there a lot.
Yes, yes you will. And I want you on there every chance you can. It has been so fun. I've had Morgan on my show twice, which has been a blast. I love it so
Yeah,
much. Um we've got quite a few episodes coming up which I'm really excited about. I'm going to be publishing Parasite this week that we're recording.
I can't wait for that.
So when this episode comes out, I will probably publish that. But that's Jen and Sarah from Movies and Us and TVs and Us. And then I also am going to be back on Revisionist's Almanac, and you're going to be on there. But I'm doing the 90s draft in January. We drafted all of which we just recorded yesterday, but we drafted all of the Oscar winners in the big 6 categories for all the 90s. And then I will be back in March for the 2017 Academy Awards. Or
That
is it?
was, yeah, it
Yeah,
is
2017.
2017. Yeah, that was the year I was considering. I was thinking when I signed up for it, I was thinking 2019, 2017, or
Mm-hmm.
2007, and
Yeah.
it ended up between, ironically, 2017 and 2019, but I'm doing
Mm.
2019.
Nice.
Yeah,
Perfect. I was like, you're doing 2019, I'm doing 2017. But then I almost said you're right at the same time. I was like, no, we're just nearby.
yeah,
But yeah, so I'll be doing 2017 and I'm so excited. I will be back this month recording with Greatest Movie of All Time. We're going to talk about Psycho. So I'm excited about that.
awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be great. And then just keep an eye out for My show, I'm gonna have a few people who have recently made a movie that was released. They made a modern adaptation of Sense and Sensibility, and they are my childhood friends. I've known them my whole life. So I'm gonna have some people who do some filmmaking on the show,
That is
and then
awesome,
I'll have my Christmas special talking about Golden Age classics. So
which
I'm
is
really
going to be
excited. A
great.
lot of fun stuff. Yeah, it's gonna be so fun. But you can find me mostly on Instagram. My TikTok is a little less notable. I'm not as active on there, but I do try to post on there. Um, but yeah, so all the fun things, come listen to Hero Morgan pop back on, and it will be so fun. But I just cannot even thank you enough for having me on your show. I love this show. I'm so happy to have been on here so early on. And you're such an amazing friend. I'm so excited for all the fun things we get to do together in the future.
Thank you. That means so much to me. And you were like one of the first people I was like, I need Clarissa on more than once as well. I was like, it has to happen. Uh,
Okay, fine.
yeah.
I will.
Um, I mean, we do have the Audrey Hepburn one to prep and plan for in the future as
Oh,
well, which
yeah.
is going to be great.
Mhm.
But as for me, I will be doing the regular Hall of Film videos in the future coming up. I do have a film festival that I'm going to mid this month, so I'll extend the deadline for the voting soon, which I'll put on my Twitter. And yeah, as Clarissa mentioned, next year I'll be going on the Revisionist Almanac doing 2019, which I can't wait for. The prep for that has been so fun. And yeah, I will catch you all in the next one, guys. And so go follow Clarissa as well and buy her book as well, please. And
You're awesome.
yeah, I will see you all in the next one.